time. Queer times.
Queers in.
Hey, Kristen, how's it going?
Hi, Harrison. How are you? Good morning.
I'm really good. Good morning.
Sorry, I made you get up at 9:30 in the morning.
It's early for me. I'm a creature of the
I
night.
know. You were, but then there was a moment when you were here where you were like, I get up early now. That's who I am. And so I just assumed that was going to carry on
We'll
to your
see.
new
We'll see.
life on the West
Yeah.
Coast. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queer Times. I'm Kristen Becker.
I'm Harrison Fish.
I'm coming to you from Provincetown, Massachusetts. Harrison, where are you coming to us from?
The East Bay, Oakland.
Ooh.
Yeah.
West Coast and East Coast. We're covering all of the queerness.
Exactly. It's been a wild week.
It's been insane.
Yeah, I feel like we've been saying that the last couple of weeks, and I feel like we're just in a succession of wild weeks with no end in sight.
I did run into somebody 2 nights ago who is an avid listener of the podcast, and they were like, I can't wait to hear you guys talk about this week.
Right.
And that got me really excited to talk about this week. Like,
Totally,
all it takes is one person being like, I'm listening. And I'm like, well,
exactly.
what can we do for you? We'll do whatever you need.
Yeah. And if you are listening, please like, comment, subscribe, rate, and review us, and share it. Share it for a friend.
Tell your friends, invite them to listen, tell them this is a really cool thing. It's these people doing it. You'll like it.
Yeah.
They did also say that they like that I keep you in check. So,
Keep me in check.
No, more. I don't think in check was the right word. I think I used a little artistic license. I think it was just that I push back on your dirty socialism.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. What should we talk about first?
Yeah, this week's been pretty wild, specifically when it comes to Trump, the Epstein files, and everything that encompasses under that topic. And it's been a wild week.
So where we left this last week was you and I being like, why did the Democrats fold? Like, what the fuck? What are they doing? Why are they trusting anybody? And then I think it was like the next day that all the emails dropped. And then so my first thing was like, oh, did we end the shutdown because we thought the Epstein was this the deal? End the shutdown and then we're going to drop all these emails. Did that cross your mind?
It did. I mean, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, was seemingly using the shutdown as an excuse to not swear in Adelita Grijalva, who would be the last signature on the
vote to release the Epstein files.
Yes. Yeah, so Adelita Grijalva was expected to be the final signature on the petition to release the Epstein files. So I guess maybe there was some strategy to end the shutdown so that she would get sworn in and would be the final signature to release the Epstein files.
And she was.
Mm-hmm.
And first question I have for you, do you think that was a good decision?
Like a good decision to end the shutdown if the Epstein files come out?
Yes.
I guess we'll see. Like, there's a lot of steps for it to go through. To actually be released, it has to go through the House, then the Senate, then it has to go across President Trump's desk, who a week ago I would have assumed would have vetoed it. But did you see that he's now saying that Republicans should vote for the release of the Epstein files?
I did see that. And that was why I was kind of curious. Like, I do not believe that, and let me preface this with, I obviously believe that we should end any sort of large-scale rich men sleeping with teenage girls, organized crime situation that exists. Obviously, that should be something we put a stop to.
Yeah.
However, I'm not convinced that everyone's healthcare should skyrocket because Democrats believed that if they did this, I feel like it's a little, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I feel like it's a little Trump derangement syndrome. I think it's a little bit like, we're going to do this and we're going to get him. 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 And we're not going to get him. They don't, I don't even think they care. Now that Megyn Kelly's like, Yeah, but 15's not 5. Like, what?
That's insane.
Is that not like
I mean, let's go back to a couple weeks ago. It's the same party that is defending 35-year-olds telling Nazi jokes in a group chat saying they're these are just young people. Let's not make a
right,
mistake ruin their whole life. And then but
right.
now they're like, well, sleeping with a 15-year-old is very different than sleeping with an 8-year-old, which um it might
Number 1,
be
yes, sure, but that doesn't
right.
make either one of them okay.
Right. And criminally they're the same.
Right. And that was something that I thought would have led to everyone going, "Ew." But it actually led to a lot of people going, "Well, you know, she's got a point. There is a difference between a 15-year-old and like,
Oh, of course. People will do backflips to we've seen it for almost 10 years now. People will do backflips in order to defend Trump, to in order to like warp their brain and their ideas into something that they're okay with feeling. These people have voted for Trump 3 times and they need to they're defending themselves in that.
I'm honestly genuinely shocked that for all of the ruckus about the Epstein files, and obviously we've talked about this before, this is something that's been around for a while, and that the point number 1 being that you don't have to release the files if you just believe the hundreds of women who say this happened to them. Number 1, you don't even need the official documents if you just believe women. But number
Mhm.
2, after years of this, after Epstein dying via suicide, after Virginia Giffrey also died by suicide,
Mhm.
like, after all of this, that we start to get a little bit of information that Trump is clearly very connected and no one gives a shit. Like, that to me.
I think people do care. I'm never going to be shocked that Republicans are hypocrites and will constantly their morals and their standards are so malleable and it's to protect themselves when it comes to the end of it, and I'll never be shocked that Republicans and the right are hypocrites, but I do think something will come of this. I do think people do care.
I honestly don't know. I think people can do mental gymnastics with themselves in a way that I don't I don't know if they care. For me, Megan Kelly being like a 5-year-old is not a 15 or an 8-year-old is not a 15-year-old was the moment where my brain was like, "Oh my god, they're really not gonna care." Because if anybody could have been at the forefront of let's protect young women, Megan Kelly could have and should have, right? Like I wasn't expecting Matt Gaetz to be like,
Right. Megan Kelly
you know,
also has a 14-year-old daughter.
right. Well, maybe she's realizing that she could further her career if she could get her daughter involved.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? Like why else
Yeah.
wouldn't you or like I'm already like does Megan Kelly's daughter already have a senator boyfriend? Like why wouldn't she be
Right.
ready to say no?
So all these emails came out. It made it very specifically obvious that Donald Trump is even more connected with Epstein than we had even assumed in our like I feel like a lot of us were like, "Oh, it's so obvious." And now that it is laid bare, I was like, "Wow, it's kind of even worse than we expected it to be."
I want to say that, you know, something came out there like, "Oh, we didn't realize how many times Trump would come up in the emails." But the reality is that Trump has dominated the news cycle for a decade now,
Mhm.
right? So I'm not shocked that his name comes up a lot and that he would be someone that they would be talking about. I am kind of shocked at how no one likes him.
Right.
Right? Like the way that like
E-
everybody was like, that guy's a fucking asshole.
yeah, even Jeffrey Epstein, one of the worst people ever to exist, was like, that man doesn't have a good cell in his body.
And he's worse in person.
I think what was even more shocking is like we expected Donald Trump to be involved in the Epstein files, but the more that's come out, we are starting to realize that Epstein was a lot more involved in Trump's goings, like the goings on within Trump and his presidency, than we had ever thought. Apparently, Jeffrey Epstein was in like texting a Republican congressperson while they were on the stand during Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing. Like he was texting a Republican congressperson what questions to ask Brett Kavanaugh while they were actively
I
asking questions. During the Brett Kavanaugh Supreme Court confirmation hearings in 2018, Jeffrey Epstein was texting with former White House strategist Steve Bannon. The text messages released in November of 2025 revealed Epstein giving Bannon advice on how to undermine Kavanaugh's accuser, Christine Blasey Ford.
So the point being that rich men are texting your elected officials to help guide questioning in a government investigation, basically,
Right.
right?
Right.
I think that before we go any further, we have to talk about Bubba.
Right.
I feel like that's what everyone's here for, right? And
Yeah.
if you don't know, which I don't know how you could live in this country for sure and on this planet and not have heard Lewinsky, right? Like Donica Lewinsky has been there is an email exchange from Mark Epstein to his brother, Jeffrey, that says, "Do you think Putin has the picture of Trump blowing Bubba?" And everyone knows that Bill Clinton has been known as Bubba in his whole life and in these political circles. My question to you, Harrison, is do you think that Donald Trump actually blew Bill Clinton?
Um, Here's the thing, I don't really care. I feel like a lot of as these Epstein emails and the Epstein files are talking about being coming out, everyone's like, "Oh, people, you don't even understand. The reason they're trying to protect him is because it's so much worse than we could ever imagine." And I feel like people when these emails came out, people were like, "It is worse. He wasn't only sleeping with children, he was gay." And I just feel like it's like I'm like, "Is that worse?" Because when it comes down to it, in these supposedly in these Epstein files, in these emails, there's proof that Donald Trump and all of these powerful men were sleeping with underage children. I kind of don't care if amongst that is two adults having consensual sexual interactions. Like, I'm assuming that if Bill Clinton and Donald Trump did have sexual relations, that it was consensual, and therefore I couldn't care less. Like, that's great, I love that for them.
I don't think it happened, and I think that we're interpreting an email in the most dramatic fashion possible. And I think that Trump was up against Hillary. I think there's a speech somewhere that Trump gave saying how amazing the Clintons are at something. And I think the term blowing him is used in a way that you talk about like there's probably a speech where Trump is saying that Clinton's the best and that the Clintons are the best because he donated money to them in the past. And I think that Mark Epstein used the term blowing him as like littering him with compliments. I don't
Yeah,
think
like
it's
ass kissing.
necessarily yeah, I think he was just ass kissing, and I think at the time Trump was up against Hillary, and that would have been the sort of information that, but we're so fucked as a country because it's mixed in with like literally sleeping with children that we're like, oh, blowing that must mean who we're fucking blowing them, and it's like,
But if they're referring to, not to get into semantics, but if they're referring to a portion of a speech where he was complimenting Bill Clinton, why would he ask if he had a picture of it? You can't really take a picture of that.
I guess that is true. I guess that is true.
I mean, have you heard this other idea that the reference to Bubba is not a reference to Bill Clinton? The rumor is that Ghislaine Maxwell had a horse named Bubba,
No,
which almost feels more
sorry.
like,
The
yeah, let that
The
sink in for a
visuals, hold
minute.
on, I need the
Yeah,
visuals. Okay, all right. Which almost seems more like what?
more likely.
Well, he does I think the scariest part is that we all know Trump doesn't drink. And
Mm.
somebody getting hammered and then taking a bet to suck off a horse, plausible in a lot of areas of this country. Plausible. Plausible, just boys
Mhm.
being boys, having a good time out on the farm. But a sober person doing that, now we've got issues. I have not heard that Bubba is a horse.
It does sound like a horse name.
You don't know a lot of Bubbas? Is that
I
not a
don't, but I'm from New England.
but, like, you're always like, "I'm rural," and I thought, "No, they don't have any Bubbas in rural Connecticut?"
No,
That's
no, no.
specifically a Southern thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I did just Google it, and they said there is no credible evidence that Ghislaine Maxwell owned a horse named Bubba, but it says this claim has been widely circulated on social media.
Okay.
It appears to be a rumor that arose from an email referencing Bubba, but like it was someone who said someone was talking about this email, and they weren't like, oh, Donald Trump didn't blow any Bubba. They were like, oh, Bubba isn't referring to Bill Clinton.
No, that's what I think. I think that either it was uh, I guess your point to the picture makes me question my theory. My theory was like, maybe this is just a loose use of the word blowing.
Hmm.
But then I was also like, do you know how many Bubbas there are in Florida? Like, they could do you know what I mean? Like, what would
Right.
be cool is if Bubba was like, my dick. He sucked my dick. Like, that would be
Right.
if I lived in Florida right now and I went by the name Bubba, I would be like, that was well, no, I guess I wouldn't because then you'll get killed, it seems, or
Yeah.
you'll unalive yourself.
Right. But I feel like this goes back to what I've said a few times, which is like, I feel like a lot of people are running with this, like, oh, Donald Trump blew Bill Clinton because, like, that's not a crime. Like, there are actual crimes and victims happening in the midst of the Epstein files, and Donald Trump has been a perpetrator of those things for so many years. Him having consensual sex with another adult is not scandalous to me. And I know it's this idea that he is like there's this potential that he is a same-sex attracted individual, but like that's not a scandal.
A same-sex attracted individual? That is what they call it in Mormonism.
Well, I'm not going to call him gay because I
No, that's what
Donald
make
Trump is
sucking a
not
dick makes you
gay.
gay.
No.
It's like Liberace level gay, like gold everywhere. You're
I
telling me
guess
that
that's
that
true.
guy's he's pretty fucking gay.
I just think being gay is an identity, and I don't think like if Trump says he's not gay, and I don't care how like I just mean like I'm a gay person and I'm proud of being a gay person. Donald Trump sucking one dick doesn't make him the same as me, a gay person.
I mean, I guess it depends on how good he sucked that dick. No, you're right. It does not. I agree with you that like it's not, but also, given where they fall on the political spectrum, I enjoy identifying him in a manner that he does not identify for himself.
Hmm.
Because that's fun for me because they don't like
Mm.
to take people's identity very seriously. So it's fun for me to go, I don't know. You've got a beard of a wife who doesn't sleep with you. You've got a gold toilet and you are obsessed with people's genitals. Sounds gay to me.
I just think it's like there have been scientific studies that say 1 in 5 men are same sex attracted, but yet like one less than 1 in 10 identifies as gay. Like there has to be a difference between those two groups of people because there
Well,
are.
well, there's a spectrum. It's a spectrum of gender identity and sexuality. And I'm happy. I will readily agree that like you could be like Harrison gay over here and then like Donald Trump gay here. Like you're more gay, obviously. But that doesn't mean that he's not a little gay because there's a lot of things about him that are a little gay, whether or not he sucked off another consenting adult.
Right. But I mean, there is endless anecdotal evidence and seemingly some actual evidence that he is definitely a pedophile.
And then these are two things we don't want to conflate.
Well, exactly. There are two things we don't want to complain, but we also don't want to act like being gay is a bigger insult than being a pedophile. Like everyone be like, "Oh my God, Trump's gay. Let's rag him for being gay." And I'm like, I'd rather not rag people for being gay. Being gay isn't a bad thing. It's whether he thinks it or not. What is a an accepted bad thing. What bad people are pedophiles. And there's no one who really thinks that being a pedophile isn't a bad thing, except for Megyn Kelly, maybe. I just think like there's something that we could go after him for that is legit and is real and is an assumed across the board bad thing. And whether Donald Trump and Republicans think being gay is a bad thing, I don't. Therefore, I'm not going to act like it is to hurt his feelings.
No, I agree. I think that they're getting distracted from the story by focusing on whether or not Trump blew Bill Clinton.
Because whether he
Um,
blew Bill Clinton or not, there are no victims in that scenario, but there are real victims in so many of these other scenarios.
there's been such a concerted focus on these. I can't wrap my head around how we're starting to get these and no one gives a shit. Because really, people like his people don't give a shit. And so now I'm like, oh, it's over. It's over.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but I think the people who have loudly defended Trump for so long aren't gonna flip and start loudly criticizing him for this. But I think the people that quietly have voted for Trump for whatever reason are now quietly, I'm hoping, are quietly turning against him now that it is presumed that he is a pedophile. Like the little old ladies who have been voting Republican for years, who don't really talk about politics but make their way out to the polls once every 4 years to vote for the person who has the R next to their name, might be changing their minds.
I think it depends on what Fox News is going to tell them and what Fox News is telling them right now. Because these are the same people who will easily believe that this is the deep state trying to get their person. Right?
Mm,
Like these are the same people who voted for an evil person because Jesus would send an imperfect human for you to test their faith, but yet that same imperfect human just ended abortion, right? Like when you go, that woman is
mm,
to me a single issue voter, and that was an
mm.
abortion voter. That was somebody who is pious, who goes to church, who believes that all fetuses are babies, and they've been able to trick themselves into believing that if they can have faith in this broken person, that the Lord will then give them life eternal.
Crazy. I mean, we're about to watch the people who have been loudly defending Trump for 10 years um, do their best to loudly defend pedophilia. And I mean, we've already seen Megyn Kelly um, split hairs when it comes to pedophilia. And I think we're going to have to witness a lot more of the same in the coming months as more of this information comes out.
Is this when they just start lowering the age of consent?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, there was a podcaster a little while ago who said, like, oh, like 200 years ago, if a 40-year-old man married a 15-year-old, that would have been normal. But now it's trauma. Like, people have been trying to rewind the age of consent in little ways forever.
And they wonder why women want to burn it all down. After a while of being a person with a vagina on this planet, you get to where you want to just start shooting people.
I
You
hear you.
just want to be like, oh, really? Like,
I do have a good news story for this week.
hey,
Have you heard about gay sheep?
I have. And
Cool.
somebody's rescuing them
Yeah.
to
So
live on a gay
basically,
sheep farm. Wait, I did hear about, okay,
exactly.
yes, tell me more, tell me more.
So basically, a percentage of male sheep, which are called rams, experience same-sex attraction and entirely have no sexual interest in females. And typically, these rams, once they exhibit the same-sex attraction and the farmers realize they're not going to be able to reproduce, they basically typically kill these gay sheep. But there is a person now who rescues said gay sheep and has a company called Rainbow Wool, where he shears all these rams, processes the wool into spinnable thread, and now sells products. And this past week there was actually a fashion show in New York. Basically, Grinder heard about these gay sheep and this farm that produces rainbow wool and got a designer to make a collection of fashion out of this rainbow wool of all like gay stereotypes like lumberjacks and construction workers and all these things, and they did a
I love
fashion
wait,
show
you
this
were
past
like
week in New York.
you were like gay stereotypes, and you were like construction workers and lumberjacks.
Presidents of the United States. Just kidding. But I think that's really cool.
I love number 1, I think it's so random, like, the cool thing I mean, I get that, like, if you're a farmer, you need your sheep to make more sheep. I get it, I get it, I get it, but I love that somebody was like, "You know what we'll do with all these gay sheep? We'll put them on an island. We'll bring all these gay sheep because, like, it's
Hell
probably a
yeah.
pretty lit farm." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's
is
like
it
P Town, but a farm for sheep.
do the gay sheep blow each other, or they just don't show any
I
interest in women?
I get they don't show interest in women, and I don't know if they blow each other, but the idea is that there are like mating. I don't want to say rituals, but like they show mating behavior towards other rams rather than towards other ewes. Which like mating behavior for me is blowing, so who knows?
Mm.
There's a group of ex-military women who are calling themselves the Hellcats, and they're basically like um co-marketing each other in their runs for office.
Ooh.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool. I saw a TikTok about it. When I first saw the TikTok, they're like, "We're the Hellcats, and we are women who used to serve in the military." And I was like, "Please be running Democrat. Please be running Democrat."
And were they?
Yes, they are running Democrat. They're fighting to flip the House. And the name, the Hellcats.
4 female veterans running for Congress launch the Hellcats,
Yeah, the first female Marines were called the Hellcats, which is why they chose the name.
a group of 4 Democratic women veterans and friends running for Congress.
Work.
And I quote from Joe Mendoza, a retired Marine gunnery sergeant and drill instructor from Arizona. The original Lady Hellcats broke barriers a century ago. We're reviving their legacy, but this time to defend the country we love from division and corruption.
Do you have where the 4 women are running?
One's from Arizona, one's from Washington, one is from New York, and one is from New Jersey.
And
New
I guess
Jersey, New York, Arizona, New Hampshire. Yep,
they're all running in districts that are Republican held, and they're trying to flip those.
they are. And the best way to do that is military service. If there's one
Right.
thing that speaks to Republicans, or at least it used to, I don't know who these people are anymore. But I know that if there's one thing that used to speak to Republicans, it was people who put their lives on the line to defend our country. But now we don't, I guess, care about that because we are self centered assholes who believe that we should have everything to ourselves and everything should be tailor made to ourselves. And we should not sacrifice our comfort in any way, shape, or form for our community's well being.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like it goes back to the initial story we were talking about. It's like 10 years ago, Republicans were shooting up pizza shops because Hillary Clinton was running underage sex rings out of them. And now those same Republicans are trying to do backflips to make it seem like Donald Trump and Epstein and all of his co-conspirators weren't that bad because they were only 15.
The more I do believe that history will show that the things they yelled loudest about were the things they were doing themselves. The deep
Hmm.
state, number 1. The pedophilia ring, number 2. The stolen elections, number 3. I
Right.
think that Trump has proven time and time again that he's not a genius. He might have good gut instincts in one-on-one
Mm.
conversations. He might I mean, in the moment. I don't mean that with any forethought. I meant in the moment. He might be he knows enough to tell you what you want to hear, whether it has any real bearing in truth or reality. He knows that much. But I really believe that history will show that this was all a con and everything they bitched about are just things they're guilty of themselves. And it was smart and it worked
Right. For too long.
for
And
way too
hopefully
long.
hopefully it's on the end of working. Hopefully the end is near of it working.
I don't know because I really Because the other thing that did not come out of the emails thus far from the Epstein trove is any financial advice. And like that's
Right.
apparently how this guy became a billionaire. So how come none of the first of all, number one, why are they using they're so old they're using emails like text, number one. Number two, like I don't know if they like believe that emails were safer or like some weird thing. Number two, how is there not any just like, hey, what do you think the markets are going to do on this thing here? Or where should I just, hey, got a raise. Like, what should I do with this money? It's never that. It's like, do you think I talked to this girl the right way?
Right. But my understanding is that we haven't gotten any of the actual Epstein files yet. This dump of emails came from the Epstein estate. So the Epstein estate released these emails, and we're still waiting on the Epstein files, which are files that were aggregated by a investigation into.
But the files would just be the government's interpretation of these emails, right?
I imagine these emails are 1% of what is in the Epstein files. Like,
If
yes, these emails are probably in the files, but I'm guessing there's so much more. It's gonna be a fun couple of months of episodes here on Queer Times.
I'm excited,
Me
but
too.
that we won't be making Harrison record at 9:30 in the morning because that's
No,
too early for
m-
him.
my eyes aren't the same size until noon.
Are you gonna be able to let that go? If you don't know, somebody commented about Harrison's one eye being more closed than his other eye. It's that one.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it has me and my sister, it is a running joke that we have two eyes that are not the same size. So she got a big kick out of it.
okay. Well, I'm glad somebody got a laugh out of it. It's funny when I saw it, I was like, "Is that a jab at Harrison?" And then I was like, "Is that his friend? Should I go back at him?" Like I was like trying to decide if I should defend your eye honor or if I should just
Right.
not get involved because it's somebody you knew. But apparently, it wasn't somebody you know. It was just somebody who couldn't handle this.
Yeah. I've been talking on the internet for long enough where something like that doesn't bother me.
Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, follow. Fuck this administration.
Hell yeah.
Okay, love you.
Queerly. Bye.
Bye. Queer is in.